This is Misheard Nerds. This is our weekly podcast where we do a little gaming news. But mostly it's our opinions on things that we want to talk about or things in the gaming world that brings up a warranted discussion.
Yeah, like cats.
Like, do Jigglies really need to be censored in Persona 5's Western release?
This is Camel X.
I don't know what they're censoring. I've stayed away from news on that. I want to be surprised.
What's your name?
But there is censorship. My name is Stubborn Weeb, and today, first of all,
we're not going to talk about jiggle mechanics.
We're not.
Okay.
That's not the topic. The topic today is what redeems a game in our eyes
after it's released.
And it was awful.
Yeah,
it was god awful.
Yeah, we're not talking about games that came out and they were good and then they just released farther DLC that improve upon the game.
Like Witcher 3.
Yeah, we're talking about games that released and they were not good at launch and people were really disappointed with the product, and then as time went on, it got better.
Yep. Alright. But here we always start off with a little bit of just talking about games we played recently.
Mm-hmm.
And who's going to go first?
You can go if you want to. I can go.
I'm going to go.
Okay.
So what I've been playing recently, I actually beat it, was Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core. I kind of want to get through all the old lore and stuff for Final Fantasy. I think I'll buy the original Final Fantasy VII and just play through that before the new one comes out, because I keep spoiling myself in trailers and stuff.
It's not worth it.
It's worth it.
I don't think it's going to be.
Why?
Because you're going to beat Final Fantasy VII.
Okay.
Right? And then you're going to be like, oh man, now I'm going to play the remake. And then you're going to be playing that remake, and then you're going to I know you, and you're going to be all like, oh, I mean, yeah, it looks cool, but I've seen a lot of this already.
What are you talking about? No, that's different.
No, you're going, I know you, dude. You're going to be like, no, the story's the same. There's nothing that's going to be.
No, it's different. What bothered me about Kingdom Hearts 3 and its trailers was it put a bunch of emotional scenes into the trailers, and then there was nothing good in the game. And those were trailers out of context. If I'm playing a remake of a game, it doesn't bother me. If I'm playing something that I never played before and all the heavy-hitting moments are spread throughout trailers that I've seen, then that bothers me when I hop into a fresh experience. If I know what I'm getting into, it's different. And they're also completely reworked. Well, not completely. It's still going to have the same basic plot, but there'll be many different character interactions and stuff that I think will make it worth.
Okay. Yeah, I've heard that they're putting a lot of stuff into the game.
Yeah, it's going to be a 40-hour plus game just for part 1.
Yeah. We can just slide right into the size. We wanted to talk about that since we're on the subject of Final Fantasy.
No, we'll talk about that in a second.
Okay.
I'm gonna finish.
Yeah, what you're playing.
Yeah. Let me finish.
Okay.
Anyway, Crisis Core is a really good game. I beat it. The combat was awful. I emulated it. I played it on an emulator, and that's definitely the best way to play it, because the combat animations are so slow. If I actually put that in my PSP, it'd be awful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. The other thing is, I think that's it. I've been playing the game of life, brother.
Is that it? Is that really the only game you've been playing?
Yeah, I'm trying to do a series on my channel. I want to do a review series leading up to the release of the first part of the remake. I want to play through all the original continuity and do some reviews on those.
All right.
So, I'm going to be Final Fantasy VII out for the next few weeks.
That's nice, bro. So I recently got PlayStation VR. It's super cool. You came over and played it today just for a little bit. And I've been playing a lot of Beat Saber. I played some Skyrim on there, which is really cool. Seeing a world that I'm so familiar with, because I've played Skyrim probably 1,000 hours, and I've played Skyrim so much, and then actually being in the world and looking around and seeing things, like you're there. It's not the fidelity isn't too high or anything, but it's still super cool to be able to be in the world and interact with it in a way you never were able to before.
Yeah. I can see that. I actually went over to his house today and I played a little bit of his PSVR, and well, I can't say I wish the resolution was just slightly higher.
Yeah, it's only 720p in each eye, I believe.
Yeah,
and then
that's what I meant when I said it looked a little blurry.
Yeah, I think it needs to be at least 1080p.
Yeah, and the second iteration will probably do that.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
But anyway, from what I saw, I loved it. Great stuff.
Yeah, it's just super cool. Like, just being able to be in a game. It's like a whole different experience.
Yeah, it is. I played that Toy Box one. I really like it, being able to move around a character, but, like, interact with the environment around it. That's a cool thing to do.
Yeah, there's another game by the Rick and Morty creator.
I know what
Trevor Saves the Universe. Yeah, it's a lot like that.
Is it?
Yeah, you're like controlling a character in third person, but you're in VR. Yeah, I think that's all I've been playing though is basically Skyrim and Beat Saber. I think I might have played no, that's it.
That's it. All right. So.
You want to go ahead and move on to...
I was going to go ahead and talk about Final Fantasy VII since you brought it up.
Yeah. That's what I was about to say, but I couldn't remember what the game was called.
7.
7.
V. Because it has an extended I sound. V. Yeah. I'm stoked about the game. It's 100 gigs just out of the box. That's crazy.
Yeah. You just walked up to me in the hallway and told me that, and I was just like, what?
Yeah.
I was like, that's... like, no way.
Part 1 is going to be that, and if it's a 3-part series, and each of them, like, are about this big, if you want all 3 of them installed on your system, that's going to be 300 gigabytes of your system storage. Presumably. I'd assume they'd get higher with each new release because the image quality would be higher and stuff. Because it'll probably be next gen, the next parts will be.
I don't know. I think they might, like, put a lot of it in the front end, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then after the... like, first part, I think they're probably going to be smaller games overall. Like the.
Well, I've heard that a lot of people were actually mad about. Keep in mind that neither of us played the first Final Fantasy.
Oh yeah, and we have never played Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah. But I've heard a lot of people were mad that it was only the Midgar segment of the game because it's actually a very small portion of the base game. But now that they see how much care they're putting into it, they think that's actually really cool, and they say at least 2 or 3 more parts will fill it up, and those actually have more room to expand.
Have they? I thought they confirmed that it was only going to be in 2 parts.
That was a misdirection. I was telling you that. What they said, and I misinterpreted it, was they said it would be on 2 Blu-ray discs, but to fit the 100 gigabytes onto the physical copy for the first part, they'll have 2 Blu-ray discs like Red Dead had.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry about that. They haven't confirmed how many there will be total. I assume it'll be a trilogy, probably.
Yeah, I imagine there will probably be 3 parts, because I've heard that the game is broken up into 3 main sections. Mm-hmm. I don't remember what those sections are, but, you know, whatever.
Midgar is the only one I knew, because it's probably the most popular scenic thing you'll see from Final Fantasy VII.
Or Final Fantasy in general.
Yeah.
Like, I see, anytime I see anyone, like, bring up Final Fantasy or whatever, it's always Final Fantasy VII. Yeah.
And there are people out there who are like, oh, I hate Final Fantasy VII, but I can never tell if they just hate on it because it's popular.
Yeah, no, I think it's an objectively good game just because of how well loved it is, and you know, like there's no way that so many people can enjoy a game but then it not actually be good, you know?
Yeah, they're like, this isn't even the peak. Final Fantasy 2, man.
Or like I've heard people say Final Fantasy 15 is the best Final Fantasy, and then
that is objectively wrong.
Yes. Seriously, dude. No, like, did you notice when Final Fantasy 15 came out? When it first came out, everyone praised it, said it was the best game ever.
Yeah.
And then, like, a year or 2 ago, people all of a sudden were just like, wait, game's not that good. They're like, there's stuff that's objectively bad about this. Like,
yeah.
Like, the people, like, the combat, dude, from day one, I was like, I hate the combat.
Yeah.
And then now everyone's like, yeah, the combat's terrible. But, like, when it first came out, everyone else was like, what are you talking about? The combat's amazing. It's so cool.
You heard they actually went in and updates, they made the combat section deeper?
Seriously?
Yeah, so if you get all... Okay, it's very limited, but what it is there's a thing called Armiger Unleashed, and it's, you know, how he activates the Armiger.
Yeah.
So there's a section, I don't know if it's, you have to get all the royal parts or just some, but I've heard he'll start going to this attack mode, Noctis will, and you had to put, there's actually combo moves you can put in and stuff to make it more technical.
Well, why didn't they do that just when the game starts?
I don't know, because in some things they're like, oh, we need to dumb it down for the Americans.
Dude, I freaking hate that excuse where they'll be all like, no, we've actually changed this character's name, or, like, it'll be stupid stuff, too, like, literally changing a character's name or something. They're like, yeah, we changed this character's name because we weren't sure if American audiences would understand. I'm like, what are you talking about? It's a name.
I used to think Sora was a made-up name, like, when I was a little kid.
What do you mean?
I used to think it was a made-up character name. I didn't realize it was just a Japanese name.
Sora?
Yeah, I was like, oh, that's a funny name. I thought Roxas was a legit English name, though.
Dude, I remember you used to tell me if you ever had a kid, you would name him Roxas.
I was like, oh, that kid would be bullied. That's what you were like, not...
Yeah, I'd be like, dude, no, don't do that. But then I'm also the guy that wants to name my kid Dookie.
I'll name my kid Johnny. Johnny and Dookie.
And then they're gonna be like,
best friends.
Yeah. And then Dookie's gonna turn into a dog. And then you're going to have Johnny have twin sisters.
I'll make him have twin sisters?
No, you'll have twins.
Oh, okay.
Girls. One's them game gonna be,
Susan
and Megan.
Mary.
Susan and Mary. Dude, that's one of those things. I swear I remember a Megan.
There was no Megan.
No, man.
Maybe they're friends with Megan from Family Guy.
No.
No.
I remember a Megan.
Anyway, I'm actually beyond excited for the remake. It looks really good from all the trailers I've seen.
Yeah, for me, it's just, like, I can already kind of tell it's not really going to be my type of game.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like, sometimes I can really enjoy those types of games, like Japanese JRPGs. I played Dragon Quest for, like, 50 hours, and then I still don't think I'm even past, like, the first act.
Yeah.
And,
I don't think this game will be that long.
No, I don't think it will be.
It's going to be less grindy since it's real time.
Mm-hmm. And, well, it wasn't really like Dragon Quest was grindy or anything. Like, I was playing through the story and stuff. It's just that Japanese games have very long stories. And that's how, that's what I was just saying. Like, I didn't even get past the first act yet. Like,
yeah.
Like, because I know there's, like, several companions that you get throughout the game, and I only had 3. And I think there's a party of 8 that you get. And I was literally playing for 50 hours.
We'll have to cover the demo on this channel when it comes out just to see what both of us think.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I'm still waiting for the demo. I want it to come out soon.
Ooh, my hair's going all over the place. Yeah, do you want to go ahead and move on to the next topic, or is there anything else you want to say about Final Fantasy, or?
What other news did you want to talk about?
How BioWare is talking about how they're reworking Anthem, and then I was going to lead that into our discussion.
Okay, yeah.
So, basically, BioWare has come out and they're saying that they're basically going to be reworking Anthem and basically trying to fix the game. You know?
Yeah.
There's stuff that people said that there's just stuff wrong with the game and it's baked in, like it's in the mechanics. And basically BioWare saying, yeah, we're going to get in there and fix that stuff. And I thought it was interesting because Fallout 76 is kind of doing something similar with the Wastelanders DLC, you know?
Yeah.
Not like not like a complete rework, but changing things to change it into something that people want. And I assume that's what BioWare is going to be doing.
Yeah, I think 76 had if they can fix bugs, it felt decently enough like a Fallout game through everything else, right?
No, because one of the main things about Fallout is the interacting with people.
No, I mean mechanics-wise.
Oh, like gameplay-wise?
Yeah.
Like, it felt like Fallout 4.
Yeah, I mean, like,
yeah.
I think that's good enough. Like, if they can fix the actual everything else, it shouldn't be that hard, really, right?
Yeah, but then the game still today, people say it's still extremely buggy.
Yeah, and Bethesda refuses to, they might eventually just remove the whole game because Bethesda loves to just remove things that don't work.
That only happened one time.
It happened quite a few times.
Well, they took out a whole bunch of stuff at, like, a very close proximity to each other.
It's still such a weird thing. Here, we added this entire new place for you to explore. Hey, it doesn't work too well. Oh, okay.
Let's just take it out.
We'll put in some time, guys. Don't worry.
Well, yeah, and then, but what I was going to say about Wastelanders and stuff is, like, they're releasing this, and, it's really to try to save the game. And like that's what I was talking about whenever, like, how what we're going to talk about today is, like, them releasing these updates and stuff that are either game-changing to where it's almost not even the same game anymore, or they just keep constantly releasing small updates that make the game better.
Yeah. They actually had a really cool creature design in the Fallout 76 trailer. Did you see it?
Yeah.
I really like that design.
Yeah, there's some cool stuff in Fallout 76, and there's going to be, I hope there's going to be even more cool stuff, because I don't want the game to fail or anything. I know there's people that want that game to fail.
Yeah.
Like, immediately whenever it first came out, people are all like, Fallout shouldn't be online.
I don't really like the fact that it's online. I wish they would outsource it to another company so we could get more frequent Fallout games.
Well, what I think is going to happen is, like, basically, once Fallout 76 is squared away and people are going in and playing it at a steady, because I think right now they're just trying to fix the game, and I think there's been developing Starfield for a while now.
Yeah.
I think we're probably either going to get a Starfield this year or next year.
I mean, there's so much more things to be done with outsourcing, and I love when companies do that. Like Persona.
I think Fallout 76 is going to be pushed onto a smaller part of their.
I mean, that's still good, I know, but we still know it'll be a while because Bethesda takes a while on their games.
Oh yeah, it's going to be probably another 10 years before we see another Fallout game.
I know, that's why I want them to outsource some Fallout games to another company.
Oh yeah, definitely. I wish they would.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to get at. Like, I don't care even if their main focus was on 76, let other companies handle the other things that people want, you know?
Yeah. And I don't think they're ever going to give up Elder Scrolls. I almost said Skyrim the Elder Scrolls.
Skyrim the Elder Scrolls.
Yeah, I don't think they're ever going to let anyone work on Elder Scrolls.
Because, like, Atlas, while they're busy, I said that like with a weird Scottish, Atlas! They're the developers of Persona, but they outsourced a lot of the sequel work to other companies.
Uh-huh.
So, they can keep developing Persona and Shin Megami Tensei and whatever else they do in-house. And I think that's perfectly reasonable, just have some people go over there, help them out. And it gets people content faster like they want. Bethesda would be making a lot more money off the property because, they'd have more games coming out.
Yeah, I think part of the thing that people... what gets people excited about Bethesda is how rarely they release games in a way, because it used to, like, before Fallout 4 came out, like, people would be, like, really excited when Bethesda released a game, because every time they would release a game, it changed the entire industry.
But now they don't do that anymore.
Exactly. And
now
that's
they're
why
just
people,
boring.
I think that's why people aren't as excited anymore.
Yeah.
Because when Morrowind came out, they blew everyone away. They're like, you can do this with video games? Yeah. And then they were all like, hold up. Now we're going to release Oblivion. And then everyone was like, holy crap, these graphics are amazing!
And then the same thing kind of happened with Skyrim.
And then Fallout 3 even. They released Fallout 3 and they're like, RPGs can be good? And then Fallout New Vegas came out and people are all like, for some reason when it first came out, people were all like, oh, Fallout New Vegas sucks. And now everyone loves Fallout New Vegas. And then Skyrim came out and people were all like, whoa!
Never forget Obsidian didn't get their bonus because they had a 3% lower Metacritic score.
That's so stupid.
Okay, but yeah. I still think, now we know the Bethesda formula, it's not getting that much better. I say we at least, I'm not saying we need one every 2 years, but at least every 4 years have one come out.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be, like, I remember people were getting really upset about, that were a fan of Fallout, before Fallout 4 came out, because they were all like, dude, the last Fallout game came out, before Fallout 4, I think it was 2009? Or 8?
Yeah.
Yeah, or it was like 2009, and then that was, like, the last mainline Fallout game, until Fallout 4, which was 2015? Yeah, it was 2015. Yeah, I think that's really crazy. Like, that's way too long in between games.
Especially for one of your most popular franchises.
Yeah, for a popular IP, and then...
It's even worse for the Elder Scrolls.
Oh, yeah, when did Skyrim come out? 2011?
Yeah, 11.
Yeah. That's crazy.
9 years, probably won't be seeing the other one, the next one this year. Maybe, it might be 11 or 12 years.
No, dude, it's gonna be... How long has it been? 9 years, right? Yeah, it's been 9 years. And they're developing Starfield, and I know they're not going to be... Their Elder Scrolls is in pre-development. That's going to be if Starfield releases this year, then there's going to be at least another 4 or 5 years until we see another Elder Scrolls.
I'd say 2 or 3.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Bethesda has gotten bigger.
They need to go on a diet.
I would say at least another 3 years after Starfield. If Starfield releases this year, and then if it releases next year, we're going to have to wait 3 years after that.
Do they not have another dev team working on Elder Scrolls?
They have a specific team that develops their, like, main games.
That's really stupid.
Yeah.
They should have 2.
Yeah. It's their main. I think they're in Austin, Texas.
Well, I'm excited to see what Starfield is, because if it's crap, then I think people are gonna get really ticked off.
Yeah, and then Bethesda's gonna be like, "Oh gosh, guys, we really got to do good on Elder Scrolls."
Like, all their other subsidiaries are doing fine. It's just the main things Bethesda themselves make.
The people who made Wolfenstein, people aren't very happy with them.
I didn't like either. I don't like machine games. I don't like their works. That's just me, though.
Yeah. The first game I thought was really good, but then the other games, except Wolfenstein 2 was alright, but...
Youngblood.
The game that everyone says is garbage.
I love Youngblood. That's a lie.
Yeah, no.
I actually got really hyped. I'm like, oh, dude, me and you can play it together. And then you were like, yeah. And then I saw it come out, and I was like, oh, this is nasty.
Yeah.
Some weird RPG shooter hybrid with
Dude, that
awful
was
characters.
So wonky. Why'd they put RPG elements into it?
Because every game needs RPG elements now, also replayability.
No. I'm excited for Doom, though. Like, in the Bethesda shooter.
Yeah. I'll get Animal Crossing and you'll get Doom on the same day.
Oh, dude. We should. that would be... I imagine there's probably going to be a lot of, like, videos or skits. It's, like, the 2 types of people that buying games on... When do they come out? What's the date? Check your watch.
I did that earlier today. I was like, what's today's date? I need to write on my work. And I looked at my watch. I'm like, this isn't going to help.
I forget.
I don't know. I think it's March 28th.
Yeah, it's going to be like the 2 types of people that are buying video games on March 28th. And it's going to show like people like buying Doom and people buying Animal Crossing. But then it's going to be like the people like are going to be like in all like black punked out makeup and like be completely punked out, but they're going to be the ones buying Animal Crossing.
Yeah, and all the happy normal people are.
Yeah, they're just going to be buying Doom.
Yeah. Being happy and normal takes up a lot of your energy, man. Sometimes you get. So.
Oh.
The actual thing we were getting into before we got really sidetracked was with Fallout 76. You're going to bring up if it can essentially be saved with Wastelanders, and if you'd be okay with that, right?
Yeah, pretty much. And like, okay, the thing is again, I don't want the game to fail, and I don't want it to be a bad game because I love Fallout. And then I know how a lot of companies are. They're just going to be all like, oh, this game didn't perform well. That means we're never going to do a Fallout game again or whatever.
Well, then again, I don't know if Bethesda would do that.
Yeah, I don't think Bethesda's that type of company.
Because 4 was their best-selling game ever.
Yeah, ever. And then it was also not that great.
It's fine, Austin. It's maybe not...
No. Okay, the thing is that... I guess Bethesda has never really been that company that's all like, yeah, there's a lot of choice and consequence in the games, but they toted so hard in Fallout 4. They were like, oh, there's going to be so much choice and consequence. There's zero! Okay? The only choice that you have is who you side with. And then it's the same ending no matter what.
They just literally went for the Skyrim approach. They looked at what did best, they modeled it into Fallout 4, and then this is the game we got. They looked at what people liked in Skyrim, and then they moved it over to Fallout 4.
I know. And I guess I wasn't as butthurt with Skyrim, but like objectively Skyrim isn't a very good RPG.
No,
it's
not.
It's a really cool open world game, and there's with a lot of content, but from RPG standpoint it's not. But Fallout 4, I don't know. Fallout's really special to me.
Yeah, I don't agree with it. I think it should have more choice and consequence, but like looking from a financial standpoint, I'm like,
yeah, like they're doing what works.
Yeah,
like I can't get mad at them for like doing what
what sold better in the past.
Yeah, and but what I was gonna say about Fallout 76 is, they're like, I don't think we can ever really like forgive how they released that game and what state it was in and stuff.
Or even all the shady weird stuff they did with the collector's edition.
Yeah, there's so, like the whole thing, the Fallout 76 just really started a bad era of Bethesda for like, and it's still kind of going on.
It's even iffy if that's what started it or if it like started a little beforehand.
Yeah, like I think it was just like, I don't know what happened, man.
Was Creation Club first or 76?
76.
Was it really?
Right?
I think Creation Club was first.
Oh yeah, and it came out.
That's when Bethesda started tanking, and then and then 76 came out, and that made it a lot worse.
Yeah, and it's just it kind of makes me upset that Bethesda's doing this. But what I was gonna say is, I don't really think that you can redeem the game. I guess like it's just left such a bad taste in people's mouth.
Yeah.
And
tasted like day old rubber soup
filled with crap. Dude, I played it for like 40 minutes.
in a cummy sock.
I didn't play it in a cummy sock.
No, like that was added with the taste.
Oh, yeah, but I played it for like 40 minutes, and the game broke within that 40 minutes. I couldn't progress.
What if you took it out and the disc like literally did shatter?
Well, I didn't have a disc, but...
Oh. Would that be even more impressive?
But, yeah, I played the game for about 40 minutes, and I got to the point where you're supposed to learn how to build, and it just didn't happen. And then I started falling through the world infinitely. And I was like, okay, I'm not playing this anymore. Like, but it was making sounds and stuff like I was building things, but I wasn't.
It's really weird.
It made me kind of sad because I was like, man, I'm gonna give this game a chance. I'm gonna do it.
Is the building good? Because
I don't know.
Oh, you never tried again?
No, I played it for 40 minutes. That was the worst introduction to a game ever.
Okay.
And then also, before I even exited the vault, it was bugging out. Like, it wasn't detecting that I was, like, completing objectives.
I don't think Bethesda plays their games. I think they say, everything is modeled, scripted, and in there, so we're just gonna put it out.
Yeah. Like, I've heard that Bethesda, whenever Fallout 76 was being playtested, that, like, playtesters were literally, like, they're all like, yeah, it's releasing next month, and they were all like, what? They're like, this game's broken. You can't release it next month.
Like, we're gonna.
Yeah.
I remember all the stories of, like, GameStops and stuff giving away Fallout 76s with purchases.
Yeah.
Because they had, like, overstocks.
Yeah, they had so much because, you know, I imagine that they probably thought it was going to perform well because it's a Bethesda game.
Yeah.
And then people went and were, like, you know, all the reviews came out and stuff that it's just a bad game and people were all like, oh, we don't want it.
Even casual gamers got word of it. I thought it would perform well just because casual gamers are like,
oh, Fallout Online?
Yeah. But it didn't. I heard a group of, you know, obviously sportsy kids in a store looking at Fallout, and he's like, should I get it? And all the other kids were like, no, man, that game's trash.
Yeah. Like, yeah, dude, it doesn't ever make you uncomfortable when you go into a GameStop and then there's, like, that dude that walks in. You can definitely tell that he's all, like, you know, he definitely plays, like, soccer for his school or something.
He'll just go in there to pick up Madden or Call of Duty.
Yeah, but then, like, sometimes he'll have, like, 2 friends with him, and then, like, they'll be talking, and then you'll hear them say a whole bunch of ignorant things. Like, things that, like, not that they're, like, disrespectful, like,
yeah.
Like, they just don't know what they're talking about.
About video games.
Yeah.
But they feel like they know.
Yeah, and you're just like, oh, I hate you people.
But kind of like whatever, like, you know, the high school boy, the typical boy that's always depicted on Disney TV shows.
Oh, yeah, like the sporty type of
guy who still likes video games because they're a boy.
Yeah. Like, they play video games, but then, like, you can definitely tell that the actor that they have has never touched a video game controller in their life. They're like, yeah, let's play a video game together.
Yeah.
And they start playing, they're like, whoa, man, you're one of the best people I've ever played with. And then, like, they sit there, and then, like...
They act like they're using motion controls 24/7.
Yeah. Have you ever seen, like, them do that in, like, a sitcom or something? They'll have, like, one of the mobile phone VR headsets, but then they'll be, like, holding a TV remote for a controller, and you're all like...
It's so annoying!
You're all like, what are you doing? Why?
And, like, sometimes the controller's not even on. One thing the YouTuber I watch, Caleb City, what I like about his skits is if he's playing a console, he'll actually have the console on, so you'll, like, see the controller light up and stuff.
Yeah.
It's just nice attention to detail. You know, it matches. It's not ignorant.
Yeah.
I remember I was watching, my sister, I wasn't watching it. I might have been. I just don't want people out there to know it. I don't actually like these movies, but my sister had Descendants on, and one of the characters in it had these, like, things that looked like the PlayStation Move controllers.
Yeah.
But he was playing, like, on a Wii, and he was like, whoa! And he was, like, doing all this stuff, and he was like, oh, I gotta hit these guys. He wasn't in VR or anything, but he was, like, slashing them around. And, like, I was like, what? This not any console. What? And the game itself was clearly scripted. His body was not doing what the character was doing.
Yeah, what was I gonna say? Oh, never mind. I'm not gonna get into that. Okay, I'm not gonna get into that because that would put us on a really weird tangent.
Tell me.
I was gonna say, like, I was watching this video about how people that don't play video games, how they, like, their first time experiencing video games, and how, like, they'll, like, look at someone playing a video game like, wow, that's so cool, you can do so much, but then, like, they've never played a video game, so then, like, they'll be like, why can't I do this? I'm like, because then, like, the person's like, well, it's not in the rule that you can't do that in the game, and then, like, they're like, well, I thought you could do anything in a game. You know, and how, like, I've noticed that even with my mom, if I try to get her to play a game or something, and she does play, like, she'll be like, why can't I do this? And I'm like, the game won't let you. And she's all like, well, why not? And I'm like, I guess, I don't know. Like,
they didn't program it, Mom.
Yeah, like, but the thing is, like, like I imagine like people that don't play video games are probably like, oh, I don't even want to play a video game because it's too much for me, you know. But then like us people that play video games, we already know that there's limitations in those games. Yeah. Like this could be an entire podcast on itself. Like that's why I didn't want to get into it.
Oh, okay.
But what I was gonna say, we were talking about sitcoms and how they have terrible video game acting.
This video is like not focused, man.
But okay, and then we were on Fallout 76 and how I don't think it's really going to be able to be redeemed even with these updates and stuff.
I will challenge you there, my friend.
Okay.
So, one thing that I really hate about initial bad launches is, so you know the game comes out, it's $60, right?
Yes.
People pre-order it because they're excited and they don't know what the game is going to be. A lot of people, before 76 came out, they're like, okay, it's a Fallout game. It'll probably be at least decent. They pre-order it. They want to get that special edition and stuff, which it turns out to be awful. But say they bought the special edition and didn't return it. They have the game. So they have the game and they play it. It's god-awful. And there's nowhere they're going to keep playing it. But then Wastelanders comes out. And when Wastelanders comes out, the game will be $20. People have already bought it for $20, maybe even 10 or 11 because the game's dirt cheap. And now the game's actually good when the person bought it for $11, but when you bought it for the full $60 to you get it day one, it was just an awful buggy mess that you couldn't play. I feel like the difference in prices there is what warrants the kind of anger. Like I don't know how to really describe it, but like unfairness. To me, because I don't think someone should pay $60 for an objectively bad game, where someone would come in and pay $11 for a really good game. They just had to wait a year for it to.
Yeah, I kind of had that experience with Mass Effect, I guess.
Yeah.
Mass Effect Andromeda, because I know objectively it's not that good of a game.
Yeah.
But I went to Walmart and I got it for $4.
Yeah.
And I was all like, man, this game isn't that bad, you know?
Yeah.
And I beat it and stuff, and I was like, yeah, I enjoyed it. You know, it was okay. It wasn't amazing, but it was all right.
Yeah, but now
but then I thought about it, and I was like, well, I only did spend $4 on it.
But now imagine how much more that would hurt if you bought it right after a huge update came out, fixed all the faces, rewrote the story, and fixed everything.
Well, yeah, like that's what you would feel like you'd be like, man, I got this game for $4. You'd feel pretty good about yourself.
Yeah,
and then those people that bought it for $60 or even $120 or something, you know, they're gonna be all like, yeah, I bought it, and now they're finally fixing it after 2 years it's been out or whatever. You know,
they're not gonna give me anything in game or anything. I just have to deal with the fact that I was stupid enough to pre-order a game. And that's really awful. And then, even then, the game will mark itself back up usually if it's doing well.
Yeah, like No Man's Sky, it was selling for like I saw it at places selling for like $5 and stuff before all the updates and stuff came out.
Yeah.
And then, you know, the one really big update that added multiplayer and all third person and all that stuff. That came out, and then all of a sudden, I cannot find it for under $20.
Yeah.
All I see it now is for 20 and above. Sometimes I'll see it for like $40.
Yeah. So I'm more with the idea that if a game can be saved, I'd much rather it be saved with free updates and patches that redeems it far more in my eyes than like a Final Fantasy 15 situation where people say,
oh yeah,
it's a lot better now, but we're going to make you buy these expansion packs for something that should have already been in the game. Kingdom Hearts 3 did the same thing, and I hate both of those systems. I don't think everything in the Kingdom Hearts 3 DLC needed to be in the base game, but some of it was like essential to the story, and I was like, this definitely should have been.
Yeah.
In the game.
Day one.
Yeah, and paying $30 for that isn't right. Neither was the stuff for Final Fantasy 15.
Like, how much did that Kingdom Hearts DLC add? Like, how many hours or...
Okay, so here's the thing with that DLC. It added 2 new ways to play through the entire story mode. One was called Black Code Mode, which gives you different objectives and challenges, and you have far more control over what you can limit your character to do. So, like, say you don't want Sora to be able to use healing items at all.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so if you just want to make it really difficult on yourself, you can. I think that's an option. I haven't really messed around with it.
Yeah.
And then there was called Fast Pass Mode, to where you could just go through the whole story really quickly, and everything's a breeze just to get you through the end. Mm-hmm. I think there's also different codes you can mess around with there.
Yeah.
I haven't messed with that one either. Just, and then there was the Remind, which was the meatiest portion that adds about 10 hours of story content.
Yeah.
Depending what difficulty you were set on. And then after that, there was probably, depending on how much you died, they added really, 12 really hard boss battles and a new secret boss. I've seen some people spend, a day or two on those just because they're so hard.
So it's a good, chunk of stuff.
It is, but, I don't know. It's, $10 less than what some of the Witcher 3 DLC released as, and I don't know if they're comparable by that standard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then it also added in a photo manipulation mode where you could take all the character models and pose them indifferently.
Okay.
Which is actually pretty cool. Yeah, but Final Fantasy 15, all story content. I was one of the people who bought it for $60.
Me too.
Yeah. Me and Austin were both on the hype train.
Yeah, we were both really excited for that game. And then CJ bought it, and I think you wanted to like it so much.
I did. I liked it for months after I played it, but then after a while, I was like, this is not good.
Yeah, I think, I think you have this thing, especially with video games, where, if you, I've noticed you don't do it as much anymore, but, if you spend a lot of money on something, you're like, I'm going to enjoy this.
Yeah. But sometimes the opposite happens. When I booted up Breath of the Wild, I hated it, but now I actually go back and I like it a lot.
Yeah. But did you buy that, or was it a gift?
Both were gifts.
Yeah.
But it always makes me think, what if I asked the person to get me something else?
Yeah.
Or, what if I told them specifically not to get this gift?
But, what was I gonna say? Oh, yeah. I think that really does change the appreciation you have for a game, though. If you get it as a gift, if you bought it, if someone gave it to you, if you got it for cheap, if you got it for free with a subscription, I think that really changes how you perceive how good a game is.
Yeah. I won't lie. I actually don't think Final Fantasy 15. I know you hate it, absolutely. I don't hate the game. I view it as more of a big disappointment, and I think everything paid should have been free. And this is something I've been kind of going forward, but I haven't exactly explained. I think the only way to really redeem a game in my eyes is if you go the free route with free updates.
Mm-hmm.
I think No Man's Sky did it really well. There's still the pricing thing, which I don't really think there's any way to go around it, because if you're not making people pay for DLC, then you're going to have to mark up the price to get some kind of money back for all that what you're sinking into the game.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And people hear it's good, so they'll go buy it. So, No Man's Sky has redeemed itself in my eyes. I heard it was pushed out anyway due to corporate meddling.
Yeah, I think No Man's, and then people were mad because they were they were upset because, I forget his name. I think he was the director of the game. He was saying that there's all this stuff in the game, but that just simply wasn't.
Yeah.
And there's some of the stuff that he said that still isn't in the game. But he was saying,
was it his plan to always have it there?
Yeah, he always wanted that stuff to be in the game. But then, it would be more he was just really excited, and he'd be passionate about stuff, and he'd be like, oh yeah, the closer this planet is to the sun, the more, there'll be a desert, and, he was saying all this stuff that still isn't implemented. Yeah. And he was, he kind of said, he was I kind of let my imagination get away with me.
Yeah, I can assume, this was his first project, right?
I believe so.
So he was probably just looking at things on the drawing board and being all oh, you can do so much. He was hyping himself up for this project he was making.
Yeah, and then,
And he does seem like a very genuine man. I've seen things with him, and he doesn't seem like a bad guy at all.
No,
I don't think
like it wasn't malevolent. I don't believe it was malevolent at all. Like he wasn't purposely like, ha ha ha.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell these people that there's going to be giant creatures in the game, but then there won't be. But whoa, excuse me.
And they're still releasing updates to this day. Just a couple days ago, there was that update
with the
trailer.
living ship. Or whatever, yeah.
That you could hatch. You could hatch the ship.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's cool that they're still supporting the game this far along.
Yeah.
And I think that really is, like, I think they really did redeem the game. That is something, the thing is like, I understand that they were forced to push it out and everything, and I still hate that a game is released in a bad state.
I do,
I still really don't think that should happen, but I understand that there's times whenever it does and they can't help it.
Yeah, and to be fair, like, in Final Fantasy XV's case, that game had been trying to be worked on for 10 years. It had to come out at some point, and Square Enix was just losing tons of money, and I think they just wanted to recoup some of that.
Yeah.
I don't agree with the state it launched in, but I can understand that from a business side of things.
Yeah.
It wasn't rushed. I mean, the end product was rushed out, but I think they just wanted to kind of move on.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, yeah, and again, if No Man's Sky had a bunch of paid DLC to fix everything, I wouldn't see it redeemed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now Anthem, this is a completely different story because basically BioWare had 8 years to work on the game. All right, and EA kept going like, "Hey, you guys gotta give us something," and they're like, "Yeah, we're working on something." And then they were all like, "Dude, something needs to be released within the next 2 years," and they're all like, let's make a cinematic trailer with robots." And then they're all like, "Okay, that's gonna be the game we're working on."
And then they made it.
Yeah.
And it has the best script.
But no, 8 months. They made it.
In 8 months?
I believe. It was either 2 years or 8 months. Like, I think...
That's a very big time difference.
No. I think it was either, like, 2 years, like, full, like, pre-development and development.
Yeah.
Okay? And, like, usually a game can go through, like, 2 years of just pre-developmental stuff.
I'm not gonna lie, with what they came out with, that's kind of impressive for 2 years.
Yeah. But, no. Obsidian came out with Fallout New Vegas in 8 months.
You're right, they don't have an
And they're a smaller studio than freaking BioWare. Okay? Yeah, I just don't understand. Like, they literally worked on the game for 8 years. Well, they were supposed to be working on the game for 8 years.
We don't know what to make.
That's basically what it was. They were just like, we want to work on something? And they're like, maybe. I don't know.
I don't really know.
Maybe. I'll try. And then eventually, and then like, people are trying to blame EA in that situation, and I actually was misinformed, and I've heard people just trying to talk, like, trying to get them to be... EA seemed like the bad guy, but EA really wasn't the bad guy in that situation. They were really just like, you gotta release something. Like, you've been sitting here dormant for a long time. Like, you said you were gonna give us a game like 4 years ago.
Like, oh, sorry.
Yeah.
What were they doing? You think they went in like office parties?
I don't know. Like, they just started blowing all the money.
Yeah.
EA was giving them.
Yeah, EA is... Right now, they're not that bad of a company.
No, they're really not. And they've really shown that they're, like, trying to improve and stuff. But with Anthem... I don't think there's any way that Anthem's going to be able to be redeemed. Mm-hmm. Unless it is truly a full rework of the game. And then even then, I think those people that bought that game for $60 and stuff...
Yeah.
Imagine how betrayed they are right now.
That was not a $60 game.
No, dude. This was literally like the type of game that you would like get for free on early access. Like...
Okay, besides the obvious gameplay gripes, have you heard the script?
Dude, it's so bad. The dialogue and everything is so bad. And then also just the characters don't look very good. Like,
no, the only thing in that game is that are cool are the mechs.
Yeah, the mechs look cool, but then also from a gameplay standpoint, it's not very... Like, it doesn't feel... Like, it feels okay.
Yeah.
It feels good, okay? But for me, like, it just... Okay, I think it might have just been because I was playing Mass Effect Andromeda, and it feels like a clone of Mass Effect Andromeda, except you can also fly.
Were they, which one made Mass Effect? Was Santa Monica the one that...
Yeah, I think so. Like, I know it was BioWare, like a small portion of BioWare, and I think the people that worked on Mass Effect Andromeda were, like, basically that portion of BioWare was just dissolved and spread throughout the company.
Okay. Permeated throughout the company.
Yes, vocab words. Man,
our
Mr.
one...
is gonna be proud.
Our one true and only loyal listener will... Our biggest fan...
Yes, and don't you try to censor out Mr. That's the most generic name in the world.
Okay.
You're gonna do it anyways. You're thinking about it.
So anyway. He hates our guts, man.
I think he does.
Yeah.
I think he just despises us.
He always looks at me and says, "Good works, CJ," and I'm like...
In a passive-aggressive tone. Good work, CJ.
Yeah. My mom said she had this teacher in college who, like, wanted her to fail. She said she didn't have to take the final in college. And then the teacher said, "You lucky dog." And, like, slammed the paper down on her desk. She's like, "What the heck?"
Really?
Yeah.
That's kind of amazing.
My uncle also had a teacher who said, he said, "What's wrong with this test? I didn't get anything wrong." Because the teacher gave him a B on the test.
Yeah.
And he looked at my uncle and he said, "Nobody's perfect."
Really?
Yeah. He's like, "What?"
That's... our teacher doesn't do that to us.
No,
we were just joking.
He's a very sweet man.
Yeah. He's very passionate.
I know. It makes me excited when I go in there.
Yeah. He says everything with such intensity.
Yeah, he loves it. He loves the English.
Yeah, but... What was I gonna say? We were talking about Anthem. I just think there's no way that game's gonna be redeemed.
No, but you can also see how much BioWare just cares when they leave up Christmas decorations for 2 months. Can I also say how amazing it is that this went for 2 months unnoticed?
Yeah, like, nobody noticed it until 2 months after it happened. Like, after...
That shows how much people play the game.
That's... oh my god.
No, but I assume that if they do somehow get away with redeeming it, and it's free and not DLC, I assume with the type of game it is, it would be free updates.
Yeah, I think they said they're just basically like, yeah, we're just reworking the game.
Like kind of pull the Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah, they're like, everything's going to be, it's literally, they've said they're rebuilding the game from the ground up.
Yeah. Have you heard of the story behind Final Fantasy 14?
No.
So it was really crappy. I'm just going to give you a short rundown. Mm-hmm. So it was really crappy and laggy. No one liked it. And then the director left. And then this new director came in, and he's like, "Hey," he was talking to Square Enix. He's like, "Hey, I'm going to need a..." Well, first he tried to do some other stuff, and he was like, "Hey, I need to restart. I'm just going to need to restart the game. This is awful." And they're like, "No." And then he kept trying some other stuff, and then he went back. He's like, "Guys, admit it. This is awful. I have to just make a new game." He's like, "Okay." And they made a new game, and now it's one of the best received MMOs ever.
There's a lot. Japanese development is always the weirdest.
Yeah.
Like, it really is. Like, because there's games that will be announced, and then they'll come out 8 years later, but then they're all like...
Oh, there's actually a reason for that. So there's a big shift that's been going on with Japanese companies.
Uh-huh.
For the longest time, they believed that the only good way to produce a game is to have your own in-house engine, And now they're actually looking more towards Western developers who are using third-party engines that are more stable. So that's why a lot of Square Enix games have been getting screwed around, and now a lot are being pushed out on Unreal Engine 4. Because they're like, this is taking too much time and money, they're having people come in. So now a lot of Japanese developers...
Like, people are, like, having a career, but nobody even plays their game. Like,
yeah.
Like, people will be with the company for 10 years, and then they'll never release a game. And then they're like, yeah, I worked on that game that released 5 years after I left.
Or if someone gets a director's position on a completely different game, they'll be like, I really like this game. And they'll start putting it into their other game series. Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of... Japanese jank, even with just the development.
Yeah, I think it's gonna get ironed out soon, though.
Oh yeah. Well,
at least on Square Enix's side, because they're the ones who have most of the jank behind the development.
Yeah, and then even...
I mean, a lot of others too, but Square Enix is the most notorious example.
Yeah, the Resident Evil engine's amazing, though.
It is.
That Capcom has, dude.
The thing with Square Enix, though, was that they kept, like, building on something like ID Engine, from what I understand, except it wasn't, like, stable to begin with. So things were just really hard to put out.
Like, dude, I think it's crazy how good Resident Evil Engine looks.
Yeah.
Like, how good it can make games look.
It's freaking awesome.
Like, there's literally, like, there was points when I would be playing Resident Evil 7 or even Resident Evil 2, like, I just stop for a second, and then it would just, for a split second, almost look photorealistic.
And then Mr. X comes in, and...
yeah, and then, then a zombie would come in. Like, I never actually got too far in the game. I need to play that game. I have it. I know it's not too long.
What was your favorite part of Resident Evil 7?
Man, okay. I know it's, like, really early in the game, but, like, the scariest point in the game for me was whenever you're walking down the stairs after Mia falls down them, I believe.
Yeah.
And then, like, you're walking down the stairs slowly, and then, like, slowly out of the shadows, you see her, like, crawling up the stairs.
Yeah.
You know, like, that part, like, just that scene there made me so uncomfortable and scared. Like, just the feeling I got whenever, like, you just slowly see her crawling up the stairs, and then there's, like, almost nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
Like, that part just freaked me out.
There's a...
And then I'm gonna play that in VR, dude. I have it in VR, and I'm gonna do it.
That I think the scariest fight for me was the Maw fight.
Oh, with the bug lady?
Yeah, because it was just nasty.
Dude, that game they had some nasty stuff, like nasty sound effects and stuff.
Yeah. That game was so nasty, man.
Well, even with Daddy, I forget his name. Like that, I just remember like me being like, "Daddy's coming," but shut up! don't laugh at that. But I remember, like, there would be points in the game wherever, like, he'd be, like, following you around in the house.
Yeah. And
there would be, like, that would just be some intense stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was more intense than Mr. X following you. Because I actually felt scared when Daddy was following me. But
because, like...
when Mr. X followed me, I was like, oh, this guy's so annoying.
Yeah, like, I guess, like, you kind of got to a point... Because I think in Resident Evil 7... you had even less of an ability to defend yourself. Like, you could defend yourself, but, like, it was a lot harder to than in Resident Evil 2, I guess.
Yeah,
the remake, anyways.
I think what 7 did was the fact that you were in a house, and not your house, so it was unfamiliar, and it was a more personal threat because he was a human.
Yeah.
Than Mr. X, who's obviously some fictional creation. I think it made it a lot more intense.
Yeah, and then, like, it was really scary, too, because you wouldn't know, like, because, like, every corner you took around the house, you're like, oh, man, I really hope he's not around this corner, you know, like, or, like, you'll be, like, shimmying through something, and you're like, oh, God, please don't grab me, or something, you know, like.
Yeah. I think my favorite part was when you find out Mia's past.
Mm-hmm.
That was my favorite segment.
Dude... That was just, like, it just like, there's literally, like, the whole game is a horror game, and then it gets to, like, that final act, and then it just becomes an action game.
Yeah, like... it was so weird. I don't even know if I should like it because it's not a horror experience. But man, did I like? I think I really liked it just because I hated Mia throughout the game. I was like, dang, she's pretty cool.
Yeah.
She got a secret. She's like Special Agent Oso.
Yeah. Let's not get too into it. It's spoilers because people still want to play that game sometimes.
It came out in 2017.
Yeah. There's games I still haven't played from 2017.
I don't care. I haven't played the original Final Fantasy VII, but I'm still gonna get spoiled for it.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I'm just saying it's a pretty recent game, you know.
Okay, I've heard people talk about spoilers for what's a game that came out recently. Not too recent. People have already talked about. No, I guess.
Red Dead 2.
Wait, no. I guess so. I've heard some spoiler talk for that, just like in conversation.
Yeah.
And anyway, they had plenty of forewarning to know that we might have been talking about it.
Yeah. So if you got spoiled for a game that you wanted to play, sucks for you, loser.
Yeah, yeah. You die at the end of every game ever.
Yeah, except Pokemon.
Your Pokemon die, your character weeps.
And then he eats them. It's a sacrificial ritual type of thing.
Yeah, that at least in Pokemon Lamb and Pokemon Blood. Pokemon Satan, Pokemon...
I'm waiting for there to be a Pokemon Heaven and Hell.
Pokemon Heaven and Pokemon Hell. Will you get the Satan Pokemon or will you get the God Pokemon?
Ooh.
Man, I remember that one point in the original Pokemon movie where Ash was like, no, Pikachu, don't! And then Pikachu was like, boy, you thick. And then he turned Pikachu to stone.
No, Ash turned to stone.
I said that wrong. I know, I said that wrong!
The Mews are going like, fighting each other.
It's
and then
like,
Ash
no,
is
you
like,
can't do that!
Ash is like, stop! And then he runs in there. And then for some reason, I really don't get why he turned into stone.
But all the Pokemon's tears made him normal.
Yeah, they're magic tears.
Can turn anything from not stone.
Yeah. I'm really confused on how Mew was cloning these Pokemon, and then there was Pokemon in different, evolutional stages, and he was just cloning them in that evolutionary stage.
Why is that confusing?
Because shouldn't they be, the babies, if it's cloning?
Well, it's cloning an exact copy. I assume what it's doing is, working, doing the Control-C and Control-V commands.
I guess, maybe.
I don't know if they have different personalities then, or if they're just, the same.
Yeah, they had different personalities, because remember the Pikachus? There was the Pikachus, and they were fighting each other. Oh, yeah. And then there was the part where they were slapping each other.
I forgot.
I remember I cried, dude. I cried so hard when I saw the Pikachu slapping each other.
When they're just so worn out.
Yeah, and they're just like, Pikachu! And the other one's like, Pikachu!
If you saw that sad, then you never saw the guy from the the Yu-Gi-Oh movie, Pyramid of Light. From the light comes the jar! And then he picked up Kaiba by the head.
That was so weird. Dude, I remember we watched that, and I'm pretty sure that we just laughed at that. We went and rewound that about 100 times and laughed harder every time.
I'm an ancient Egyptian god! Battle me with your cards!
Oh, God. Yu-Gi-Oh!
5G.
No.
It's 5D. For...
You wanna... Did we kind of close out on what we... Oh, wait, no. We have to really establish what we think can redeem a game.
So, I think I've said it. If a game has a bunch of free updates, and then it becomes okay... actually, sometimes, I guess if you kind of, look at it in a really weird roundabout way, the price check can almost seem fair, as someone buying the game now will be on equal footing as someone who bought the game back when it was bad.
Yeah.
Obviously that's not why the companies do it.
No.
But yeah, I think if it's supported through free updates, it's a lot more manageable for me to come to accept a game rather than paid DLC.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And also sometimes I can understand internal development issues, and I still won't look at the game good, but it makes me keep the company in an okay light.
Mm.
Is that pretty much how you feel?
Yeah, pretty much. The only other thing is like if they're like the only way I could see that not being acceptable is if a game had 8 years to be developed, and then the game was still bad when it came out, and then after that tries to release free DLC or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I still think at that point, like, you worked 8 years on a game and it still was broken when you released it.
Just start over.
Yeah, like, just don't release it, you know?
I mean, Final Fantasy 15, yeah, I think the game, like, the game they had built was scrapped, and then what they built was in 2 years. But they were actively doing something the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, with BioWare, they literally just weren't doing anything for, like, 6 years, and then...
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, BioWare. Alright, so, that, recommendations.
Yeah, let's do some recommendations.
Okay, I'll start off first. I'm gonna go ahead and recommend Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core. I was kind of holding up for an HD remaster or remake to kind of go along, since it's a prequel.
Yeah.
And it's pretty well regarded. I was kind of hoping they'd make at least a Switch release to keep with the mobile trend of the game. Trend, it's not like something that's happened a lot of times before. But I think a Switch remake could be do well for that game. It tells a very good story. Some of the characters are really weird. Like, one of the main antagonist is kind of weird. I'd say it gets really good around the second half, but I still the main character really drives it home. Zack, he's one of my favorite main characters in a game, and I really like it for that. Yeah, the graphics on a PSP can be a little weird, so if you have both the PSP and the game, try to emulate it and just boost the graphics so it looks better. And then you can also speed past the annoying cutscenes. Your turn.
For me, I'm just gonna recommend, I've done this recently, is if you're like having a hard time with depression or anxiety or anything, like really reach out and get help. Like, it's hard to do and take that step, but really it's something that you need to do before you go and make a mistake that you can't take back.
No take-backs.
Yeah, the big mistake. The big oof.
Opening old Pop-Tarts?
Yeah.
Or are you talking about one even bigger?
I'm talking about opening the biggest Pop-Tart that we don't know what comes after it.
That's a good way of putting it. He actually has had serious depression issues, so I'm not trying to make light of suicide or anything, but...
Yeah. Don't open that big Pop-Tart.
Don't open it. So, closing out, guys, remember, don't open the big Pop-Tart.
We should close out with that from now on.
See you guys on the next video.
Peace. Like and subscribe.